Good morning, everyone. I decided to say heck with it and just make a plant video this morning, just so you guys can kind of see what's going on. As you can tell, the ahi is not here anymore. It's not that it's not here, it's just been relocated for temporary. I noticed that it was the garden mum here that was getting most of the flies. And so, because of that, I decided, ugh, this is so bad, all the stuff that's dying off on this thing. But I decided to separate the two and see if that would give my ahi a better fighting chance. And so far, I haven't seen any, new flies. Ooh, ripping the whole plant out from the roots right there. Oops. Need the scissors. Anyway, I have not seen anything around the ahi as of yet, and then since repotting both of these, I actually have not really seen anything for bugs in general. Sorry about my shaky camera here. There's plants just dying as we go because I replanted it. I mean, as you can see, the whole middle is devastated. That was all brown, dead crap like this. And so I had to trim it all out. Well, as you can see, this is what... Oh, no, that one's gone too. That was one of the main stems. Shoot. As you can tell, it more or less, these bugs devastated. Whatever the heck they were, they just devastated. And so I'm hoping that this replant here, and the fact that I just ripped it up by the roots, trying to pull that, snap that little stem, didn't just kill this thing. Stupid idiot I am. So anyway, I've been having the back, like the deader spot anyway, towards the window. I'm trying to get these arms here to kind of pick themselves back up and turn itself back into a plant. Hopefully, anyway. So, I mean, there's still plenty good to it. And, I mean, you can see that down in here, if I can focus on it, there's this guy here is new, but he was new before I did the transplant, so whether or not he'll survive. And then there was, if I can find him again in here, at least, I know on a couple of the stems there was new leaf growth that had started down in all the dead after I trimmed some of the leaves back. I can't see any right now, but I know there was. Whether or not that's died off since. So yeah, that is the condition of the purple garden mum to date. It's just so saddening to look at. But I also did notice the flies that were attacking it are attracted to yellow. Being attracted to yellow, I noticed I was kind of an idiot and had everything sitting on a yellow towel. And so, more or less, I was kind of attracting the flies to my plants regardless. And so, this is kind of my own idiocy. But I didn't think about it. I just grabbed a towel, put it down in case they spill. I mean, I'm in an apartment. I don't want my freaking floors flooded and muddy, so I mean, I put something down to catch it. But I should have chosen a different color. Because since repotting it and getting rid of the yellow towel, I haven't honestly seen a fly buzzing around this thing since. Like, I can sit here and stare at the bottoms of the leaves, and normally, I'd see like a little ghost of a thing kind of dangling around the bottoms and in and out and back and forth. But, I mean, there's nothing. Nothing. And if there is, there's probably one or two that have probably got stuck on my sticky traps by now because I got rid of all their larvae. So now I'm going to pause here and bring you back to the ahi. It's in the other room. And we'll go from there. So see you in a few seconds. Hey, here I am again. back at the ahi, as you can see, if I can get my camera to focus. Found out part of my issue. You can see my overwatering situation, where it went. This is my original hole when this plant started last year. I since moved it down to this hole. Noticed that it grown better, but I felt like that was too much water still, so I went to this hole. And then while I was at this hole, I was noticing it was still kind of too much water. And so I took a screwdriver and just shoved it way down in the hole, and I was like, wait a minute, it goes down quite a ways, so instead of screwing around and drilling multiple more holes in the side of my bucket like an idiot, when I replanted it, I figured out that the actual inside where the plant is sitting right now, this container, is actually touching the bottom anyway. So I just went up to where the bottom holes cut off. Around the planter, it's got those, square cuts so that it can let the water in. And so that's just at the top of those, which I feel that's going to give this ahi at least a chance to spread its legs. Because from here to here, that's, holy crap, I was really not doing good. But it was also an experimental system, and that was why we're going as we're going. So I mean, now if this ahi survives, it's gonna be one tough son of a gun. If it dies, hey, at least my bucket's set up, for the next one, to not die and actually have some going with it. As you can tell, my slop water runoff. My catch can for all my garbage. Here's a lot of the stuff that came off just today, not the electrical tape. Of course, that'd be odd on a plant. Now I'm going to see if I can get video of these separately. So here is the smaller, you can see the stem of the other one. Here's the smaller of the two. As you can tell, the ends are all wood, for the most part, but the main stems and a lot of internal stems on some of the branches still. Let's see if I can get a different side angle here. If not, everything is still green in the center, so I mean, can't give up on it till it's brown to the ground. That's the only way to put it, honestly. Until she's brown to the ground, I ain't gonna stop. Now here is the bigger one, the original, the one that was actually really taken off. You can tell that a lot of the new growth that happened was still there, but I had to break a lot of it off. It just wasn't, looked nasty. I mean, I didn't have to break it off, but I'm also not, gonna lose sleep over a few leaves. But now, like, if you look at the top here, like I'm saying, all of this was just soggy droop, more or less. Let's see if I can grab one of these dead leaves. I'll give you an example. Oop, dropped him. Here's a branch that I picked off earlier. Everything was sitting on there like this, more or less. Everything, as soon as I transplanted it. Just, there was no strength. It was just flop-eared and all get out. And now the top half, at least being, thankfully, it actually looks like it's, see if I can get my camera to kind of focus a little better here. It's definitely not what I wanted, camera. You jerk. There we go. You can see the top of this guy here is getting some new growth out the top. That's relatively new. And then if you look just along any of the joints on this guy, you can see like right here is a couple of new leaves that just started within the past couple of days. Up here is those leaves that I was trying to show you. Those couple were just opening within the last couple of days. I know that they're all small right now, but whatever. This one actually looks like it's trying to make a recovery, at least, of the plants. But again, you know, like I said, we'll see. Like, you can tell this end right here just burnt out. And that's sad. But, I mean, if enough of the plant can come back, I'm hoping that it'll do something for me. Because, I mean, I've got new leaves already down here, little guys, and this guy, and there's some new leaves coming out of the joint there, and here's some leaves. And so, I mean, I'm not too concerned about the bigger one. It's going to be a long, slow process, but now with this one being secluded, a little bit better from the rest, or I shouldn't say the rest, I should say the other one that was attracting the flies. I don't feel like this one's going to end up with as many. And then where I've got it sitting now in my bedroom window, it's more or less secluded, gets sun all day by itself. It's not tucked into a corner anymore, so it actually is getting sunshine. My concern though is if I'm going to have to put some sort of shading on the window, because with it being more or less just a stem right now, I'm afraid it might, you know, the sun's going to bake or bleach or cook my stem off, and I don't really need that nor want that. And so that's kind of where I'm sitting. But I mean, you can see the sun's actually hitting it now, whereas it wasn't before, and I think that was also kind of part of its issue. Just being stuck in the shadow, I mean, it would get sun where it was, just not much. Not as much as the Purple Garden Mum, and then especially when the Purple Garden Mum started going kind of crazy, taking over, spreading out, it really started kind of blocking off what little light. It's too bright, but I mean, there's some really nice leaves on the end of that guy. Let's see if I can get my camera to focus at all. There they are. So, I mean, this guy I feel is going to come back. Fingers crossed on this guy here. Like I said, he's green all the way up to the tips. And this one's always been a smaller one of the two, which was odd, but it never looked like this. So, I mean, if it does die off down to the ground, I'll probably just clip it at the top. I don't see a need to go in there ripping the roots apart, because they've grown together. I noticed that I was trying to take them apart and separate them to put them in different pots when I changed it out. But the roots were, of course, too intertangled at that point because of how big they've gotten. So I think if, that one does die, I'll probably just cut her off, flush at the dirt down there, just let the roots decompose. I just don't want a plant standing up rotten. So, I mean, let me know what you guys think. I mean, do you think they'll both pull through? Which one do you think is looking the best? Advice, comments, questions. Same with the Garden Mum. Do you think, what's your opinions on that? Now that there's no flies getting on it for the time being, since they're not attracted to it for the time being, we'll just have to wait and see. So probably check back in another couple of weeks here. Until then, I mean, grow on, everyone.